Welcome to the deep dive.
Hey there.
This is where we take the sources you bring us, maybe articles, notes, research you've gathered,
Yep, whatever you've got.
and together we try to cut through all the noise and find the really valuable insights.
It's about getting you up to speed quickly on what matters, based only on the material you shared with us.
Exactly. Not just summarizing, but, exploring what it all means.
Connecting the dots, finding those key nuggets.
And today, we're diving into the latest from Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, WWDC25.
Right. And our source for this is the info you pulled directly from the Apple Events webpage.
So we're sticking strictly to what that text describes, no speculation beyond that.
And, well, that source material sets a pretty ambitious tone right from the start, doesn't it?
It really does. It mentions Apple introducing its broadest design update ever. That's a big claim.
Huge. And alongside that, a more helpful Apple Intelligence, plus exciting new features across all our platforms.
So those seem like the big pillars, right? Design, intelligence, and cross-platform features.
Yeah, that opening statement really frames the whole thing for us, gives us the main themes to track.
Okay, so the big picture, according to this text, isn't just like adding a few buttons here and there.
No, it sounds more fundamental. A massive design refresh, Apple Intelligence getting woven in more deeply.
And importantly, framed as being more helpful for you, the user.
Right. And hitting all the platforms, not just one or two.
Okay, let's unpack that. Where should we start? Maybe iOS 26. That's where a lot of people experience Apple daily.
Sounds good. And the source's description of iOS 26, what jumps out is how it talks about Apple Intelligence.
What does it say specifically?
It mentions the ability to use visual intelligence with what's on screen.
With what's on screen. That phrasing is interesting.
Yeah, it really is. It suggests it's not just, say, analyzing photos in your Photos app.
But potentially anything currently displayed, like in any app.
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? If the phone can understand the context of what you're looking at, right then.
Wow, okay. The potential uses for that could be huge. Think about, like, looking at a recipe online.
And it understands the ingredients list. Or maybe you're looking at a chart in a report.
And it can pull out data points directly from the image you see.
Exactly. The source is brief, but with what's on screen, hints at something pretty deep, contextually aware.
Feels like a big step towards intelligence being less, stuck inside specific apps.
Right, more integrated into your actual interaction with the phone in real time.
So beyond that kind of high-level stuff, does the source mention concrete features?
It does give a couple for messages. It says you can create polls and backgrounds.
Ah, polls. That's practical. Good for group chats, coordinating stuff.
Definitely one of those small things that just makes life easier, avoids needing a separate tool sometimes.
And custom backgrounds. That ties into the broadest design update theme, I guess. Personalization.
Seems likely, yeah. Giving users more control over the look and feel of core apps, little touches.
Makes sense. What else for iOS?
Well, there's a feature aimed at language barriers. The source highlights the ability to bridge language barriers with live translation.
Okay, now that sounds like a direct example of more helpful Apple Intelligence.
Totally. Taking a common point of friction, trying to communicate across languages, and offering a real-time solution.
It fits that narrative perfectly, using AI to smooth out real-world problems.
Yeah, making communication easier, whether it's adding fun stuff like backgrounds or tackling big hurdles like language.
Okay, cool. Let's shift gears then. From the iPhone in your pocket to the desktop, macOS 26.
Right, and the source kicks off macOS by talking about productivity.
How so?
It says, turbocharge productivity with an updated Spotlight.
Turbocharge. That's a strong word. Spotlight's already useful for finding files and launching apps.
But turbocharge suggests, well, something more, doesn't it? Maybe faster isn't the only thing.
Maybe it surfaces actions or connects related things across different apps.
Could be. Or maybe lets you do more right there in the search results. If you rely heavily on Spotlight, a truly turbocharged version could really change your workflow.
Yeah, I can see that. And again, it fits the more helpful Apple Intelligence idea, but applied to how you manage work on the Mac.
And the source explicitly backs this up. It says Apple Intelligence is available in even more places on the Mac.
So it's not just one feature, it's becoming like part of the OS fabric.
That's the impression. Intelligence, that's just there, ready to help in Finder, Mail, maybe even third-party apps, making the Mac feel more proactive.
Proactive. Interesting. Does it mention anything about connecting devices?
It does. It points to tighter integration, mentioning you can enjoy live activities and the phone app on Mac.
Ah, Yeah, live activities on the Mac. So those real-time updates, sports scores, deliveries, ride shares, the stuff from the iPhone lock screen.
Showing up right on your Mac desktop. Keeps you in the loop without glancing at your phone constantly.
And the phone app right there, too. That definitely blurs the lines.
Yeah, taking calls, handling texts, all without picking up the iPhone. It reinforces the Mac as a sort of central hub in the ecosystem.
Makes that across all our platforms theme very tangible.
Exactly. These specific features listed really seem designed to bridge those device gaps.
Okay, so we've done iPhone, we've done Mac. What about the iPad? iPadOS 26.
Right. And for a lot of iPad users, especially those pushing it for, real work.
Multitasking. Window management, that's always the big discussion.
And the source seems to hit that head on. It says, a new windowing system adds the flexibility to multitask.
Flexibility, that word seems key there. Does it suggest moving beyond things like split view or stage manager?
It implies something less rigid, perhaps. A system that lets you arrange windows more freely, maybe closer to a desktop feel, but still touch-friendly.
That would be pretty significant for the platform.
Huge. If it delivers genuine flexibility, it addresses a long-standing request.
And the source pairs that with another productivity point, right?
Yes, it mentions powerful file management options help you get more done on iPad.
So better windowing and better file handling.
Taken together, it really suggests Apple's pushing the iPad further as a serious productivity device, making it easier to juggle multiple apps and manage your documents effectively.
Which could open it up for more complex workflows, the kind the source seems to be hinting at.
Exactly. Removing some of those friction points.
All right, let's switch to the smallest screen, the Apple Watch, watchOS 26.
Okay. The source highlights something for fitness users first.
What's that?
Get personalized motivation with Workout Buddy.
Workout Buddy, personalized motivation. So, not just generic close your rings reminders.
That's the implication. It sounds like the watch might use Apple Intelligence to understand your goals, your history, maybe even your schedule.
To give you tailored encouragement, like the right push at the right time.
Precisely. That could be genuinely helpful for sticking to fitness plans.
Makes sense. What else for the watch? The source mentions more intelligent features.
Yeah, it lists intelligent actions in messages and timely smart tag hints.
Okay, so intelligence right there on your wrist. Intelligent actions in messages. Maybe context-aware, quick replies.
Could be. Or suggested actions based on what someone just texted you. Makes responding faster without pulling out your phone.
And timely smart stack hints. That sounds like the watch trying to anticipate what you need.
Yeah, like surfacing your boarding pass automatically when you get near the gate, or maybe a weather alert before your run.
So the smart stack becomes more proactive, less about you scrolling through widgets.
Exactly. The watch trying to surface the right information before you even ask for it, making it more of an assistant.
Interesting. Okay, one platform left according to the source material. The newest one, Vision OS 26 for Apple Vision Pro.
Right. And the source lists a few specific improvements here. First up, visuals.
What about them?
It says you can enjoy photos with incredible depth.
Okay, so enhancing that core spatial experience, making photos feel more immersive, leveraging the Vision Pro's display tech.
Exactly. Taking advantage of what makes spatial computing unique for something fundamental like viewing photos.
The source also mentions a detail that sounds small but maybe isn't, widgets that stay put.
Yeah. That might seem minor, but in spatial computing, it's actually crucial.
Why's that?
Well, you're placing digital things, windows, apps, these widgets, into your physical space, right?
Mm-hmm.
If those things drift around or randomly reposition themselves, it completely breaks the sense of presence. It's disorienting and frustrating.
Okay. So having them reliably stay put, like the source says, is fundamental for making the environment feel stable and usable.
Absolutely. It's about making the digital elements feel grounded, like they actually belong where you place them.
Yeah.
Foundational stuff.
Gotcha. What else for Vision OS?
The source mentions an improvement to web browsing. It says web browsing that's more engaging than ever.
Web browsing is obviously core, more engaging.
Mm-hmm.
What might that mean in a special context?
Hard to say exactly from just that phrase, but it suggests they're thinking beyond just showing a flat web page floating in space.
Maybe making the interaction feel more natural, or somehow leveraging the 3D environment for web content.
Could be. It implies they're actively working on making that core online activity feel native and compelling within Vision OS, not just a port to 2D experience.
Okay, so let's zoom back out then. Looking at everything the source material you provided covered for WWDC 2025.
We saw updates listed across the board. iOS, macOS, iPadOS, watchOS, and visionOS.
Right. And the common threads based on that text.
Definitely that broadest design update ever, hinting at a big visual refresh.
And the deep integration of this more helpful Apple Intelligence, it seems to be the engine behind many new capabilities.
Yeah, intelligence positioned not just as smart, but as practically useful.
Yeah.
And finally, those exciting new features across all our platforms, tying the ecosystem together.
So we've touched on the highlights from your source material, that visual intelligence idea on iPhone, the turbocharged spotlight on Mac.
The potential for real multitasking flexibility on iPad, along with better file management.
Personalized fitness coaching on the watch, plus those intelligent hints.
And foundational improvements for visionOS, like stable widgets and more engaging web browsing.
It definitely seems, based purely on this text, that Apple Intelligence is a major strategic push, powering features across the lineup.
Making devices more proactive, more helpful in specific ways across each platform described.
So let's leave you, the listener, with a thought based on all this. Given the source's emphasis on this broadest design update and putting Apple Intelligence in more places across all these devices,
How might your day-to-day experience using Apple Gear actually change? How might these devices feel more connected, more seamless, maybe even more anticipatory in the next year or so?
something to think about as these updates described in the source start to become reality.